Hi chums, Saturday morning on a sort of a cool, foggy type of morning. I should actually have done the video a couple of hours ago to show you what Ireland looks like on a typical November morning, but I'll do that later on for you because it's really boring for us, but some people find it interesting. Excuse me. I had a friend here from Canada and I kept apologising to him for the weather. And he says, no, don't apologise. We don't get weather like this in Canada. He was from Alberta. And he said at that time it was cold, cold winters and hot, hot summers. But the weather in Alberta is becoming more like the weather in Ireland. They don't seem to get the continental type weather that they used to get. There's more maritime type climate like British Columbia. But climates are changing everywhere. But I'll do that for you later. I'll do a little show and tell of the weather. On one of the frosty type mornings we get. They are actually very nice. These are the cabbages I put in a few weeks ago, and you can see that they're doing rightly. Now, those are only in a couple of weeks there. They're going to take a while to go, but obviously growth is exponential, and the bigger they get, the bigger they get. But as you can see, that they're coming on okay. Now, I was listening to a radio program this morning, and they were saying that you can grow crops in a cold greenhouse here all right, but you have to get them started fairly well in September, and it's worth putting fleece down later on in winter because the cold will stop them. They'll not necessarily get the frost in here, but the cold will actually stop them, so it's worth putting fleece down. So I have lots of fleece, so I'll do that later on. But this is what I want to show you. Ta-da! My little greenhouse within a greenhouse. This is Andy Davis by the Sea. Inspired me to do this. He insulates Sophie's entire greenhouse, but obviously I'm not going to insulate all of this here, but using his techniques it was a very simple job. Now the biggest issue was actually getting bubble wrap. It's not hard to get, but it's hard to get it brought to Ireland because you find 100-meter rolls and 50-meter rolls for what, $30-40, and it costs another $30 to get it here. The Irish Sea, I've said before, is the most expensive piece of water in the world, and we know all about it. But I got it from Dublin, so that wasn't just as bad, you know. It's a big bubble, and it's a 50-meter roll. There's it there, actually. That's it there. 1.2 meters. What's that? About 4 feet. And it's just a nice size because what I did here was I just constructed basically a bamboo frame against the greenhouse, and there's what I did. I got the bamboos and brought them across. I drilled a hole over here in the glass, not in the glass. Andy warned me about that. I drilled a hole. I'll just walk in here. I've got my wellies on so I can show you. Oh, there's near way there. There you go. That's what I did there. I drilled a hole in the frame and just used a cable tie to put a bamboo on it. And then brought the bamboo out to here and just stuck another one into the ground. So that gave me one end. I'll get out of here without falling, I hope. And it did the same thing at the other end. I've got a bamboo cable tied here and another bamboo into the ground here. And then this bamboo here just holds a little curtain in position. It's doubled over, bubble wrap. And then it's very easy to get at. And I'll just put that up there in the road, and you can see how I built it. It's just very, very simple. It's just basically two thicknesses of bubble wrap. I'll come back over here a bit. 2 thicknesses of bubble wrap, and I brought them along the bottom, up over the top, and across this, up the side and down the top. And then I went this way towards the glass and back over again this way, and then down the front. And that gives you my hanging down bit. And I've just used some gaffer tape to hold it together. So there's 4 thicknesses of bubble wrap at the corners and at least 2 thicknesses everywhere else. And then I've got these little cloches as well. Why am I doing this? There's why. Because Gary Entropy very kindly gave me seeds for Japanese peppers. And I got them in a bit late, but it would have been okay except that the weather here in April was beautiful. I got them in at the start of May, which would normally be okay. May and June were absolutely awful, really cold, wet, miserable months, so they just didn't start off. So I actually got one little pepper about that size, about 3/4 of an inch long, or 2 centimeters long, say. So what I've done is I've got these ones here, and these are all my Japanese peppers, and I've put some in like this, and I've got some with cloches on them there. These are my Long Joe cayenne peppers and a couple of Japanese peppers, and down here are Judas trees that I grew from seed, and keep trying to keep those good. And you can see more Japanese peppers in the back there. So I'm hoping that this little construction will keep things right. Now, if it gets really cold down to the minus 20 Celsius that we had last year, I've got a little paraffin heater that I can put down on the floor somewhere around here, just take the chill off this. But it seems as if it'll do okay. I'm not watering these at all. They're damp enough at the moment. I will every so often take a wee check, but I don't want to put water in and then freeze the things because they're too wet. So, as I say, whatever water was in the pot when they were watered a month ago or more is the water they got, and it is quite damp, you know, so we'll be okay. So that's my little greenhouse within a greenhouse, and if this works, I'll be very, very pleased. But just as an insurance policy, I have taken one Japanese pepper up to the house, and it's in a sort of it's in the front porch that we don't actually use at the front of the house, but it's just moderately warm, but not so warm it could promote growth. And we'll see how that goes. My wife's turned into a real spoil sport, because I had all these peppers lined up on the wall on her side of the bed, and she got out and put her foot in one of them and then just complained and told me to get them out. So she's no fun anymore. So that's that. Now outside, I'll show you what I'm doing with the beds outside. I started getting those ready for winter. This is my new theory. I love theories and experiments. Every year, there's my strawberries, still haven't been cut back yet, but I've had another idea with these. I was about to do them, and I noticed the leaves are starting to go black, and this kind of colour here, whatever that is, and you can see here. So I'm just going to let them die back, which will help me find which of the old ones to cut off, which are the biggest, but it'll expose the young ones. And then I'll cut them all back and put some fleece over them just to protect them from really hard frost. Although they sat in the snow last year and they were grand, you know. But every year I have this debate with myself about, should I have weighted the beds before I finished last year? Should I have left the beds weighted and open? So what I did this year was I went to the shop and I got some cardboard. And that's just one layer of cardboard on the bed. The bed has been weighted. It hasn't been fertilized or anything else. There's no point putting fertilizers in just to get them leached out of the bed, you know. It also means that come next year, whenever I go to fertilize the beds, I will have a better idea of what needs done. I'll not be over fertilizing, because I did that once before. I fertilized them at the end of the year thinking this will be lovely for next year, but then I actually put too much stuff in, and I got fantastic leaf growth but no bodies in the plants, you know. So that's what I'm at. I'm using the cardboard, and I've a few little bricks on there just to hold it down. But what I've noticed is that once it gets wet, it just forms to the shape of the surface, and it seems to be, it looks like it won't blow off again. So that's where I am at the moment with the preparation. So we're going okay. We've got 1, 2, 3 beds done there. With these 2 done. Oh, where do you see that? I'll go back to my carrots in a minute and show you those. These beds here, that bed there has got garlic in it. These 2 beds here with the canopies have got onions there getting lifted today. This bed here has garlic, but it's only got half garlic. It's only garlic in one half. I'll explain that in a minute. And the other side has nothing in it. These beds here have to be dug out. I'm going to try digging them out, putting the landscape fabric in, and then we'll take it from there. If it doesn't work, I'll get my mate in with his big digger, and he can just dig a trench right along the side here, and we'll put some sort of corrugated iron in or something to stop the roots getting through. But at the moment, the easiest option is just to dig them out. Well, I dig them out, take the stuff out by hand, which is the way I have to do things, you know, and then put in the fabric. So we'll try it that way. I'm trying to get spraying. I can't get the spray. I spray twice a year, in the spring and now. I prefer to do it in October, but it's getting late now. But I can't get spraying because it's too wet. So back to the garlic again. So to say, oh no, I'll show you my. No, I'm not. I'll show you my garlic first. I'm almost too depressed to pull the carrots up, but I'll show you my garlic. The idea, what I'm at here is, I split the 2 types of garlic. I've got one garlic here called Provence, and another one here called Albigensian. Now, these are both French garlics, I think. Yeah, Provence Albigensian, yeah. And the Albigensian is the one that was in that book about, oh, I can't remember, Dan, somebody wrote it. I didn't read it, but my wife thought it was fantastic, and all the others. And with the church and, oh, yeah, well, you know it yourself. You read it, you know what it is. But, what do you call it? Is there somebody, oh my goodness, look at this here. I'm going to have to zoom here because I don't want to get my camera wet. There's the damn thing, they're starting to grow already, look. Do you see that there? Now, somebody said this is the way to grow garlic if you've got really wet soil. If you've got a clay soil, put your garlic in a cold greenhouse and just let it sit there all winter. And then in the springtime, put it into the beds. And it's had that cold shock that it needs. And it's ready to go. And apparently you get massive crops of garlic by doing it that way. So the best way to find out is half the garlic's in the ground now waiting, and this other half of each type is in here waiting. Well, they're not waiting, they're starting to grow. So that's part of the experiment and part of learning, so we'll see what happens, you know. So that's that. Right, these carrots, what time are we at? 11:15. Oh dear. I said I wasn't going to do this on you anymore, but like, this just proves what an awful liar I am. Right, my carrots. John was here, the guy from Wicklow that comes up to my potato friend. He came up to see me and we were looking at the carrots, and the carrots were just in pristine condition. They were absolutely beautiful. And then I started to pull them up, and we had this issue to deal with. There, see there? Carrot root fly. All that darkness is not dirt, that's carrot root fly. And every single carrot has got it. So I'm really, really disappointed in this. I'll take these up to, this is how desperate I am. I'll take these up to the house and see is there any saving in them. But I know there's not, because I've been through the bed already and it's been awful. The parsnips are doing okay. I'll just leave them in. Parsnips apparently get sweeter when they get a little bit of frost, so we'll leave those in and look at those another day. No, we won't. We'll pull one up now. We'll have to get a look at these and see what they're like. Right, here we come. One parsnip. I suppose that's not bad. That's about 4 inches long. But what's that? 4 inches? About 20 centimeters. No, it's not. 10 centimeters. So it's actually about the longest, about 15 centimeters, 6 inches when you look at the wee taily bit at the bottom. That's not bad. Let's stick them back in again. That'll do rightly. So there you are, folks. That's me and my wee tent in the greenhouse, and my strawberries are about to get pruned, and you can see that sort of mistiness over the garden. It'll be like this all day until about dinner time. But then the sun only rises to about here now, you see, across this house. Oh, no, it's right in the sky, but winter time just goes across the top of that house and drops down again. So there's not much sun at all. It's just, the sun's just over there behind those trees. So you can see that sort of mistiness that we have. And it's lovely when it's really cold and the frost settles on the branches and stuff. It can look quite magical. So there you are. You can see I've got a bit of tidying up to do here. But I've had another idea. Somebody mentioned that you can grow potatoes in raw compost. Well, that's not raw. That's been lying a couple of years now in the bags. So I'm going to try using that next year as part of my potato mix. And the stuff in the bags, not the stuff in the pots. That's good stuff there. That'll be put into the greenhouse. And here. So really, one way it's expensive filling the pots up, but you don't lose the stuff. You can use it somewhere else. And as you can see in these beds here, you can see the white on the beds. That's the perlite. And they're doing okay. That's leeks there. You'll see. Let me zoom for you. Let's go that way there. This is leeks here. And they're okay. They're a bit spindly looking, you know. But considering they're only put in at the end of September, or the middle of September, they're not doing too bad. But I'm going to get my leek project up and going at normal times next year, like starting in February time, and see can I get real good leeks for the winter. So there you are, folks. And that's us. And where we are. And the parsley's almost done. That was good. I was very pleased with that. I've got a freezer full of parsley. I can't get stuff into my freezer. We're actually trying to use up stuff in the freezer now. There's no room anymore. But there you go, folks. All the best now. Bye bye.